Medical reports revealed bullet wounds. A laptop search history hid a dark secret, and an entire family's life was reduced to ashes. At first, police believed it was nothing more than a tragic cabin fire, but the truth was far more horrifying. Hidden deep within the forests of California stood a cabin that witnessed a crime no one could have imagined. This isn't just a murder mystery. It's the story of hatred so deep that it destroyed the very foundation of a family. So today, we're going to decode one of the most shocking family murder cases in recent history. Welcome to Who Was. Today, we're talking about Nolen Buchanan and the terrifying secret buried beneath the ashes. The perfect family, or so it seemed. Greenwood, California, a peaceful mountain town where families dream of living quiet, perfect lives. One such family was Adam Buchanan and his wife, Kendra. From the outside, they looked like the perfect family. Adam owned a successful construction business. Money was never an issue, and together they had 2 young sons. But behind closed doors, reality was very different. Adam Buchanan lived by one rule: everything must stay under my control. He ran his household with strict rules that felt more like a military camp than a family home. For Kendra, life became suffocating. Adam wanted everything done his way, whether it involved his business or his family. Arguments became a daily routine. Living in that house were 2 innocent children, 12-year-old Nolen and his 4-year-old younger brother. As Nolen grew older, he became increasingly aware of the constant fighting between his parents. Eventually, the marriage collapsed. After the divorce, the court awarded custody of both children to Adam, largely because he had greater financial resources. Kendra left, but she also left behind a broken home where 2 young boys would now grow up under the control of a father who demanded obedience above everything else. 4 years later, 4 years passed. Nolen was no longer the confused 12-year-old. He had become a quiet, angry 16-year-old. His younger brother was now 8. Adam struggled to balance raising 2 children while running his construction company. The house still had discipline, but it had very little love. During a work project, Adam met Molly McAfee. She appeared hardworking, caring, and responsible. Adam believed Molly could finally restore peace to his chaotic home. To him, she was the solution, someone who could help manage the house and care for the children. But to Nolen, she wasn't a solution, she was an intruder. Already trapped under his father's strict control, Nolen now felt even more suffocated by the arrival of another authority figure. For Adam, Molly represented a fresh start. For Nolen, she only poured gasoline onto the fire that had been burning inside him for years. The tension returns. At first, everything seemed normal. Molly settled into the home and cared for the children. For a brief moment, it looked as though happiness had finally returned. But that peace was only the silence before the storm. Adam's obsession with control slowly resurfaced. The same strict rules that had once driven Kendra away now began suffocating Molly. He expected everything to happen exactly the way he wanted. Gradually, arguments returned. These weren't ordinary disagreements. They became battles between Adam's need for control and Molly's desire for independence. The situation became so unbearable that Molly would sometimes leave the house just to escape the constant tension. Watching all of this was 16-year-old Nolen. He had already grown to hate his father. Now he watched Molly suffer the very same way his mother once had. A dangerous belief settled into his mind. As long as Adam Buchanan is alive, there will never be peace. That thought would eventually lead him down a path from which there was no return. A dangerous plan. At 16, most teenagers dream about college, careers, or the future. Nolen Buchanan dreamed of only one thing: freedom. He convinced himself that Adam was ruining not only the family, but also the family construction business. His anger slowly transformed into greed. He began believing that if Adam and Molly were gone, he would finally be free and eventually inherit the family business and wealth. His thinking became terrifyingly simple. If I eliminate them, everything becomes mine. This wasn't teenage rage. It was calculated planning. Day after day, Nolen carefully thought through every detail. His father's controlling behavior became, in his own mind, the justification for what he was about to do. He decided the Buchanan family cabin wouldn't become a place for family vacations. It would become their grave. The cabin Adam Buchanan had purchased, a large piece of land deep inside the forests of Greenwood. There were no nearby neighbors. neighbors, no city lights, no utilities, only thick woods and silence. He was personally overseeing construction of a large vacation cabin. To Adam, it represented a peaceful escape. In reality, it had become the perfect trap. No witnesses, no one nearby to hear screams. Nolen saw exactly what his father couldn't. The isolation made it the ideal place to carry out murder. Planning the murders. Nolen chose the upcoming family vacation as the perfect opportunity. The entire family would be together, completely isolated. No neighbors, no help. Only Adam, Molly, his younger brother, and himself. To everyone else, it was simply another vacation. To Nolen, it was an execution. He opened his laptop in search for things that would later shock investigators. How to commit murder, how to start a fire, how to make murder look like an accident. He carefully planned every step: when to strike, how to destroy the evidence, how to convince everyone it had been a tragic accident. Hatred and greed had completely consumed him. The cabin Adam had built with his own hands would soon become the scene of unimaginable horror. The weapon. Adam kept a rifle at the cabin for protection against wild animals. He never imagined it would be used against his own family. Nolen secretly made the firearm part of his plan. One bullet, then fire to erase the evidence. He quietly took possession of the gun. At only 16 years old, he now held a weapon capable of destroying everything. His plan was complete. An isolated cabin, a firearm, then flames to wipe away every trace of the crime. That night, death wouldn't arrive as a wild animal. It would come from within the family itself. The night of the murders. In May 2016, Adam Buchanan, Molly McAfee, Nolen, and his 8-year-old brother arrived at the remote cabin for vacation. Dense forest surrounded them. No neighbors, only silence. The very cabin Adam had built would become the family's final destination. Night fell. The cabin grew quiet. Everyone went to sleep, except Nolen. For days, he had rehearsed this moment in his mind. Now, it was finally time. Armed with his father's rifle, he quietly moved through the cabin. The blueprint he had created through his online searches was about to become reality. The cold night air carried something far darker than silence. It carried murder. The crime. That night, while everyone slept, Nolen picked up the rifle. Without hesitation, he shot his father, Adam Buchanan. Then he turned the gun on Molly McAfee. The sound of those gunshots ended the family's future forever. But Nolen wasn't finished. To make everything appear accidental, he deliberately set the cabin on fire. He believed the flames would erase every piece of evidence. The next morning, firefighters arrived to find the cabin engulfed in flames. At first, everyone believed it had been a tragic fire. Burned bodies lay beneath the rubble. It seemed like a terrible accident, but hidden beneath the ashes was evidence that fire couldn't destroy. The investigation. Firefighters extinguished the flames. Then investigators made a horrifying discovery. Autopsies revealed bullet wounds hidden beneath the burns. This wasn't an accident, it was murder. Police searched the cabin and recovered Nolen's laptop. Its search history stunned investigators. How to kill someone, how to burn a house down, how to make murder look like an accident. The 16-year-old survivor, who claimed he had escaped the fire, suddenly became the prime suspect. During interrogation, his story quickly fell apart. Eventually, he confessed. He admitted using his father's own rifle to kill Adam and Molly. Even more heartbreaking, his 8-year-old little brother also died in the attack. The freedom Nolen believed he would gain ultimately became a prison of his own making. Instead of inheriting a new life, he destroyed his own forever. The verdict. When the verdict was announced, the courtroom fell silent. Despite being only 16 years old, Nolen Buchanan received a sentence of life imprisonment. The freedom he had killed for was gone forever. The business, the wealth, the property, none of it mattered anymore. He would spend the rest of his life behind bars. The lessons. This case leaves us with two powerful lessons. The first concerns controlling parenting. Adam Buchanan's strict control over his family and his failure to understand the emotional needs of those around him created an unhealthy healthy environment. Discipline and fear are not the same thing. Fear can push children toward anger, rebellion, and sometimes unimaginable consequences. The second lesson is about greed. Nolen believed money and power would solve all his problems. Instead, his greed cost him everything: his family, his future, his freedom. Today, the Greenwood cabin stands empty, but in many ways, its walls still echo with the tragedy that unfolded inside. A family's true foundation is built on love, trust, and understanding, not control, fear, or wealth. If we fail to listen to those closest to us, we risk allowing resentment to grow into something unimaginable. What do you think about this case? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more true crime stories. Thanks for watching Who Was.